Mark chapter 11. When they were nearing Jerusalem at the Bethphage and Bethany near the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 of his disciples, saying to them, "Go into the village in front of you, and immediately as you enter it, you will find a donkey's colt tied, which has never been ridden by anyone. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you why you are doing this, say the Lord needs it, and immediately he will send it here." So they went away to the village and found a colt tied outside at a gate in the street, and they untied it. Some of the people who were standing there said to them, "What are you doing untying the colt?" They replied to them just as Jesus had directed, and they allowed them to go. They brought the colt to Jesus and put their coats on it, and he sat on it. And many of the people spread their coats on the road as an act of tribute and homage before a new king, and others scattered a layer of leafy branches which they had cut from the fields, honoring him as Messiah. Those who went in front and those who were following him were shouting in joy and praise, "Hosanna! Save, I pray! Blessed, praised, glorified is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the kingdom of our father David. Hosanna in the highest heaven." Jesus entered Jerusalem and went to the temple enclosure, and after looking around at everything, he left for Bethany with the 12 disciples, because it was already late in the day. On the next day, when they had left Bethany, he was hungry. Seeing at a distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to see if he would find anything on it, but he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. And he said to it, "No one will ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples were listening to what he had said. Then they came to Jerusalem, and he entered the temple grounds and began driving out with force the people who were selling and buying animals for sacrifice in the temple area, and overturned the tables of the money changers, who had made a profit exchanging foreign money for temple coinage, and the seats of those who were selling doves. And he would not permit anyone to carry merchandise or household wares through the temple grounds using the temple area irreverently as a shortcut. He began to teach and say to them, "Is it not written, 'My house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations'? But you have made it a robber's den." The chief priests and scribes heard this and began searching for a way to destroy him, for they were afraid of him, since the entire crowd was struck with astonishment at his teaching. When evening came, Jesus and his disciples would leave the city. In the morning, as they were passing by, the disciples saw the fig tree, and it had withered away from the roots up. And remembering, Peter said to him, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree which you cursed has withered." And Jesus replied, "Have faith in God constantly. I assure you and most solemnly say to you, whoever says to this mountain, 'Be lifted up and thrown into the sea,' and does not doubt in his heart in God's unlimited power, but believes that what he says is going to take place, it will be done for him in accordance with God's will. For this reason I am telling you, whatever thing you ask for in prayer, in accordance with God's will, believe with confident trust that you have received them, and they will be given to you. Whenever you stand praying, if you have anything against anyone, forgive him. Drop the issue, let it go. So your Father who is in heaven will also forgive you and your transgressions and wrongdoings against him and others. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father in heaven forgive your transgressions." They came again to Jerusalem, and as Jesus was walking in the courts and porches of the temple, the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders came to him and began saying to him, "By what authority are you doing these things? Or who gave you this authority to do these things?" And Jesus said to them, "I will ask you one question, and you answer me, and then I will tell you by what authority I do these things. Was the baptism of John the Baptist from heaven, that is ordained by God, or from men? Answer me." They began discussing it with each other, saying, "If we say from heaven, he will say, 'Then why do you not believe him?' But shall we say from men?" They were afraid to answer because of the crowd, for everyone considered John to have been a real prophet. So they replied to Jesus, "We do not know." And Jesus said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things."